I was wondering if the Aryans were possibly setting up all these locations in specific geometry, you know, special geometrical shapes to use alchemy. I mean, use our world, you know, as alchemy.
Yes, that's what they're doing. They know about higher dimensional physics, and they're creating these monuments for certain effects so that they can manipulate matter. And they're experts at manipulating matter, but any of us can do it. I want to emphasize, these are not special beings or anything. They're not anything different than anyone else on Earth. They just happen to have preserved their knowledge through the cataclysm that periodically comes. And by the way, that is considered in the Puranas to be illegal. They're not supposed to be able to escape and leave and come back. It's part of the Earth. The way that the Earth works is that periodically it's wiped clean and then started up again. And this is like a necessary thing, apparently, for proper advancement of consciousness here on Earth. And the Aryans broke the rules, and they keep bringing back the same genetic strains over and over again. And this is why, like, corn is a hybrid. It was developed by some advanced beings at some point, and I think pretty much it was developed at some Atlantean time period thousands of years ago, preserved by these people, and then brought back to Earth and started up again. And if you read, like, Fingerprints of the Gods by Graham Hancock, you can see that all over the Earth there's these myths of these people with pale skin coming and teaching people how to read and write and civilization and farming and all of that. And again, it plays right into this whole mythology that is being constructed. And I'm not, again, I want to emphasize, I think that the hunter-gatherer state is an advanced state. I know it doesn't look like it if you look at them, but if you examine hunter-gatherer societies the way someone like James Cameron has, you can see that they are very advanced societies in a spiritual sense, not in a material sense.
Jay, tell me about your reaction to that famous Norway spiral and how that fits into things.
Well, I think that you know, Obama was receiving the Nobel Peace Prize at the same night that Putin decided to launch a missile, and of course, we all wonder why Obama was getting the Peace Prize since he had hardly been in office.
He was wondering why he was getting it.
Exactly. And I think that I think Putin was trying to intimidate Obama by launching the missile while he was there, and I think that the guys that are leaving did the spiral, took the missile out of the sky while it was being launched and froze it in the air, and then and of course we had this huge hyperdimensional weapon that was being exhibited for all to see to tell both the United States and Russia who is really in charge here and to not mess with them. You see, the thing that these guys, I mean, assuming all this is true, and you know, I can't say that it's true, I can only tell you that they believe it's true. The one thing that these guys are worried about is we're going to back engineer their stuff and then go take off after them, because we're angry with it, which we probably should be. And they don't want that. So they want us to be intimidated, and it was an act of pure intimidation, just pure and simple, both to Putin and to Obama. And Obama's Peace Prize may have been, you get the Peace Prize as long as you don't take any pot shots at us. But the thing is that if you look up at the night sky with these goggles, there is some kind of, like, war going on.
Something's going on up there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to make of it. I've seen these things, like, shooting at each other. And you can't see this with the naked eye. You got to spend a lot of money and get these goggles to see this, but it's well worth the show. And I don't know how long they're going with this. My DoD sources tell me that the night vision goggles are going to be outlawed soon. So if you can get them now and enjoy the spectacle, because I think pretty soon they're probably going to get confiscated. You know, terrorists could use them or something. Who knows? Well, there actually is a kind of a fifth age, which the Hindus call the Diamond Age, or it's the intervening years between where we transmute from the Iron Age back into the Golden Age. And I believe that's what's going on with Daniel and Nebuchadnezzar. Remember, all of the mythologies have a single origin place, and they each interpret it differently. And I think that Daniel is doing a fairly accurate interpretation of the ages. And of course, the clay is a reddish clay mixed with iron, and you know, it sounds a lot like Mars to me. And you know, again, you start looking at these texts, and you start looking at the ancient. The Puranas use the word Maru and it means desert land, and sometimes it means Eden. So I don't know exactly what to make of this, and I haven't had a whole lot of time to put all of the mythologies together because this stuff is racing at me so fast. I can barely put it all together. But I believe that Daniel is talking about these four ages, and that when the age of iron comes, the end will come, and the Redeemer will, you know, come and hopefully save us.
It's about a new paradigm, too, doesn't it?
Well, you know, that is true, because once our masters, and they're not our masters, I use that euphemistically, once these guys are gone, we're free now to become whatever we want. And I personally, I hope nothing happens in 2012, and we can create a society that's more just than the one that's been happening for 6,000 years. So, yeah, I think that that's exactly right. The people in the Andes, the Inca, say that there's these shamans that go into the caves and can transmute themselves into light. And they've told me that this is the man of the future, or the human of the future, the Homo luminous, I call him. And I think that's actually may be true. And I think we've been kept from our true destiny by these slave masters who are thankfully gone now, and we can pursue our own destiny now and not have to work for them. So I think there's a lot of truth in this whole idea of a transformation that's about to happen. I really do. The shackles have been taken off of us, and we're free to pursue our own destiny, our own goals now.
The Puranas is part of the Vedic, huge amount of Vedic text.
That's for sure.
And there's different sections. And I was a celibate monk for 10 years and visited India. It's unbelievable. And if anybody has seen the show India by the British journalist, it was amazing. But what you're talking about is completely true. If you do all the studies and you study, there's a string that goes through all the world's true religious, not just something that was made up by some person. There's a string that runs through every single religion, and it tells us that we're the soul in the body and we're reincarnated. And this age we're in right now is called Kali Yuga.
I'm with you. I think that the Vedic texts are incredibly important and are dismissed by Westerners way, way too much. And we need to go back and look at them, because I'm telling you, there is a lot of truth back there, and we'll understand our own religions better by understanding it. And we'll understand, especially Christianity, which seems very closely related to the Vedic understandings of reincarnation and the soul in the body and resurrection and all that.
And one thing is very clear to me, it was not just one group of beings that were the bad guys or the good ones, but that originally when we were star-seeded, it was the Pleiadians, and our DNA was 80% Pleiadian. And then over time, the Syrians, the Orions, and the Dracos primarily were the ones that they're the ones like in the Greek myths and all of that, and Egypt, and they're the ones that kind of over time changed our DNA so that we ended up being the opposite. We're only 10% Pleiadian at this point, most people. And so it's kind of like, I'm really glad that some of them are going or whatever, but we still have this DNA, and so our souls have to really shine through with love again, if you see what I mean, because they left us also with this DNA that's difficult.
Well, I'm with you. I only read books and ancient texts. So I can't really, I don't channel, and so I don't know if any of that's true. I can only report what I found in the ancient texts, and they don't really say that. But then again, they don't say it either. It's not like it could still be part of this milieu that I'm talking about. But I have to stick with the facts and as they are, and I can't get too fantastic, because what I'm saying is fantastic enough. So yeah, we definitely have DNA, and we've been genetically manipulated. I'm pretty sure of that. I doubt very much whether Darwinism has much efficacy in the real way that reality works, and not to say that there isn't evolution and all that. I'm just saying that there's other forces at work. I think we're a lot older as species than we've been led to believe, and I think that, as the alchemist said, I'm a biocentrist. I believe that the human beings are one of the most important creatures in the universe, and we need to preserve our history. We need to create a destiny that's equitable, and we need to cut loose the shackles of the slave masters, so that we can think for ourselves again, which we haven't really been allowed to do for a long time.
Aryans originally gained such a technological advantage over the rest of human beings?
Because they developed the technology to get off the planet before the coronal mass ejections. At the end of the Iron Age, every time we develop technologies, but they get destroyed by the coronal mass ejections. The Aryans changed the game and kept the technology and came back fully informed. And didn't have to make any advances because they were already completely advanced. And they came back with all the technology from the previous age intact and, waited it out on Mars. And then they came back, and then when the time clock went off, when the buzzer went off 6,000 years ago, and they realized they had to start getting moving again because the coronal mass ejections were coming, then they pulled out their technology, began giving it to us, and we began developing it, and that's how it happens. And their plan is to come back again at some time in the future with all their technology after they believe that we will be reduced back to a hunter-gatherer status.